Oh yeah, this is how you start a video. Nice black screen. Who's directing this movie anyway?
Well, did they know it was a rough cut? Well, we'll fix it in post.
Welcome everybody to the Church of the Tonepriest. The Tonepriest is banished to the leper colony for a week.
It's a new variant, the COVID Delta Plus rewards program variant.
So we have plenty of time to work on musical gizmos. What are we doing today? We are finishing up the cabinet for the 1962 Gibson GA-5T Skylark amplifier. This is the back door right here. What we're going to do is the cabinet's basically all built and ready to go, but we need to Tolex it and put on some grill cloths. So that'll be fun. I'll put links in the description. Much better videos on how to Tolex and grill cloth your cabinets are done by Uncle Doug, so you should probably just stop watching this video now and go watch his. But if you've been playing the home game and you're curious to see how this amplifier comes out in the end, stay tuned, because here we go. Here are the materials we have kicking around. Got some black square Tolex material. And this is similar to what the original Gibson cabinet would have had on it. And then this is the grill cloth we have. It's looks like a reddish brown and black. So this should be pretty sharp. Let's see if I can get a shot where there's not a big glare. Yeah, probably not. There you go. Yeah, this will look nice. So that's what we're going to use. Yeah, let's use it. Alright. The old camera's having trouble focusing on this flat black here. But here's the main part of the cabinet. And we're going to need 4 pieces of Tolex cut for this. We're going to need one for each side, one for the top, and one for the bottom. So we're going to make some careful measurements. And then the overlap is going to be, whatever this is, like 2 inches. Maybe 3, 2.5, somewhere around there. And then we'll have another piece on top. Alright, and I'll show you the materials we'll be using in a second. Here are the supplies and materials we'll be using. We've got some Gorilla Snot spray adhesive. And we use this to spray the back of the Tolex. That helps it get a better tooth on the stuff here. Weldwood contact cement. We're going to need a brush to brush on our Weldwood contact cement into the wood of the cabinet. Of course, going to need a sharp object to cut our Tolex. And finally, a linoleum roller. Fun stuff, right? Here are the measurements in inches that we'll need. One for each side, a top and a bottom. So I'm going to very carefully measure and cut the Tolex pieces now. Here's the first side piece. And if I can do this one-handed, which I really can't, looks to be about right. So we'll continue on, cut out the rest of the pieces, and then move on to the heavy lifting. When you're cutting this stuff up, you're going to want to use a square because the roll itself is not square. So make sure all your outside edges are nice and square and parallel and perpendicular and all that good stuff. We've got our 4 pieces cut. Here's the top piece right there. So the side piece, I'm running out of hands. Side piece is going to go like that, and then the top piece, is going to go on top of it like that. Does that all make sense? Hope so. So the key to successful Tolexing and having it look really nice is preparations. So the next step here is to measure the center line very carefully, both on the top and the bottom, and then also on your side pieces. And that'll be, when we go to glue this down, we'll line it up to center line on the top and bottom. And, if you have a textured pattern like this, you don't want it to be all crooked. You want it to be nice and straight and flush, parallel, perpendicular, all that good stuff. So we're almost ready to crack open the Weldwood. One thing I forgot to mark on the wood of the cabinet is how much overlap the Tolex is going to be. So it's going to be 2 3/4 inches. So I'll draw a line at 2 3/4. I've already got some glue on there, but we'll be fine. Alright, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to add 1 layer of contact cement to the top, about here, and then also the sides. And when that tacks up, we'll add a second layer. We'll wait a little bit longer for that to get tacky, and then we'll start slapping the Tolex down. Sorry for the fan noise in the background. After we put the second layer on of contact cement, we're going to go take our Gorilla Snot and spray the backside of the piece of Tolex we're using, and that'll give this a little bit more tooth to stick to the cabinet. It looks like the contact cement lifts up the spray paint. I don't think it's going to affect the final product or the final outcome, but in the future I don't think I would spray paint it first. I would Tolex it, and then the bare parts of wood that we wanted painted, we would just mask off the Tolex and spray it that way. But I think we'll be fine. Alright, the second layer of contact cement got tacky, and so I very carefully lined up the center to center. Oops, sorry about the fan. And then this 2 3/4 lines right here. So we got that all lined up, and then I push this down very hard. Use the roller to really get it down there nice and flat and sticky, and then I pulled down on the Tolex with a very decent amount of force to get this wrapped around the side and stuck to the side of the cabinet. Now we're going to make a cut right here, start wrapping the sides around. Alright, so I'm not going to show you every little piece that I do, but basically you only want one piece of Tolex touching the wood. Whenever it is doubled up, like in this corner here, we're going to cut a 45-degree angle, and we'll pull off the 2 pieces that'll be loose, and then we'll only have one piece of Tolex at every point touching the cabinet. Alright, and here's the corner. I sliced with the blade, and we wrapped everything around. And this is only really my second time doing Tolex, so I'm not going to be great at it. But you want to pull it down tight, get it as tight as you can. And when you're doing this, you want to, start with the sides that are less visible, so like the bottom and the back, and then you build up your skills as you go. And then hopefully by the time you get to the top and the front, you're doing pretty good. That's the plan anyway. Now with the bottom squared away, we're going to go ahead and put the contact cement up on the rest of the cabinet for this piece and do the same process. Alright, there she is, one side done. I'm going to keep rolling it as the contact cement gets drier. But yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Almost done here. It's important to mask off the edge here with some masking tape, so when you put the top layer on, you can, before you put your top layer on, you can put your contact cement down and you won't smudge all over the exposed part of the side Tolex. So this guy's almost done, and now we're doing the back door. Almost there. Alright, I got you set up on Mr. Tripod here. I'll film me doing this, doing the back door, finishing off the back door. And you'll get to see the technique and the procedure for doing this, and pretty much applies to everything. The tricky part is in all the cuts. Okay, step 1 is putting down the base coat, the first coat of contact cement. So we're going to put a nice thick coat down on the edges. And while doing this, again, this is my second time Tolexing. It's my first time Tolexing an entire amplifier cabinet. The other time I just did a back door like I'm doing here. And the important things are, make sure your measurements are accurate. Make sure your pieces of Tolex that you cut out are square, so you're definitely going to want to use a T-square. When you get the roll is definitely not square and perpendicular. And, measure twice, cut once. Take your time. The contact cement takes, a good while to dry. So there's really no reason to rush while doing this. And you want to make sure it's tacky before you start trying to attach the Tolex to the wood. And if it's not tacky enough, it's not the end of the world. It's just not going to stick very well, but it will eventually get tacky enough, so it will. So again, this is, as long as you make good cuts, accurate measurements, and everything's square and perpendicular and parallel, should come out nice. This is coming out, better than I thought it would, if I'm being honest. The first coat of contact cement doesn't need to be that thick. You just want to make sure it's, a nice, even coating. And then these weird corners and stuff here. This is the notch for the power cable. I'm going to go ahead and be liberal with the amount of cement you use. And then on the edges, the open pores of the wood grain really soak it up. So you can go ahead and, make the layer a little bit thicker. Alright, we're almost done here. Of course, work in a well-ventilated area. You get all the windows open, fans blowing, the whole 9 yards. Alright, I'm going to give that about 5-10 minutes to tack up, and we'll put down a second coat. Alright, it's been several minutes, and the first coat of contact cement is tacking up. It's about 80 degrees and about 100% humidity, so it doesn't take very long today. Oh, I forgot to put some down in here. So, we're going to go add the second coat. I'm going to start with the sides because we're putting that layer down thicker. It'll take a little bit longer to tack up. Alright, and this thing here is an opening. We're going to add some drill cloth here. And that's going to be to get some aeration into the inside of the cabinet so we can let the tubes breathe a little bit. Okay, here we go. Alright, there she is. Give that about 10 minutes or so to tack up, 10-15 minutes. And then we'll wrap her up. Yeah. See you then. Smoke them if you got them. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes. And she's starting to get sticky.
That's what she said?
So, here we go. Here's the fun part. Need a razor blade. And I want to pull it as tightly as you can around the corners. Stick it down. Trying not to get contact cement all over your hands. Yeah. And then push it down into the cement. Okay. I'm going to do the bottom. Pull in tightly. And if you don't pull tightly on it, the top edges, or the edges, will feel like there's a bubble underneath. And we don't want that. But even if that happens, if this is your first time and you're struggling, it's not the end of the world, because the contact cement will dry, and it'll dry hard. Alright, now for the corners. So what you want to do on the corners here. Oh, I forgot a step. I want to make a cut. Can you see that? Right here. Once you get the first fold done, take your knife, cut along the edge to the top there. There we go. Both sides. Yeah, down to the floor. Alright, let's try that again. Pull tight. There we go, much better. Yeah. Let's smush it down into the contact cement. Grab yourself a nice straight edge. And we kind of want to make 45-degree corners here. If it's not exactly 45 degrees, again, it's not the end of the world. It's just nice. So that's going to be, see, like that. And make a cut, and you want to cut through both layers of Tolex right down to the wood. Guy up and get this piece out as well. Yeah. And if you did it right, you should have a nice miter corner. We'll cut off the excess in a minute here. Alright. Do the same thing for this side. Find the corner. Here, make a nice 45-degree cut through both layers of Tolex. And voila, there she is. Nice. See that corner? Same thing there. Alright, let's do the other side. So again, got our top and bottom, fold it over, take a blade, cut against the edge, down to the floor. Start in the middle, pull as tightly as you can. Yeah. There we go. Mush it down into the glue. Get your straight edge. Find the corner. It's right about here. 45-degree cut through both layers. match up the edges. There you go. That's all there is to it. Nothing to it but to do it. Yeah. You can take your roller and roll it down smooth and flat. And also do the edges. Now I've got this little spot here for the power cable. I'm just gonna kind of wing it, see what happens. Yeah, can you see that? And again, we got some bubbles. We probably could have waited a little longer for the glue to get a little more tacky. But if you get bubbling, don't freak out. Just give it some time. It'll eventually get dry enough that the stuff will stick very well. Being sticky is definitely not something the contact cement is deficient in. Let's take off some of the excess here. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. Here we go. Yeah. Now finally, need to do the window. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to make a few cuts, kind of like triangles. Maybe 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts. But we're not going to cut all the way to the edge of the window. We're going to take the thickness of the wood. We're going to stay that far away when we make our cuts. So we're going to start at the corner of the circle. 1 cut there. 1 cut here. And we'll do 1 cut in the middle. Do the same thing on the other side. We'll do all the sides while we're at it. It is so hot right now, I am just dripping in sweat. Okay. And pretty much the same technique as before. Pull real hard, wrap around, stick it to the goop. Push it down in there, do the top one. Yeah. There we go. We've got some overlap here. So we'll just make a cut. And we'll get rid of that. There we go. And now the corners, you just want to pull and wrap best you can. You really want to pull these tight so they'll wrap around the radius of the circles. There we go. Oh yeah, it's looking good. But you don't want to pull so hard that you tear the Tolex. But it's pretty strong stuff. You can. Well, as I just jinxed myself. Here we go. Did that on purpose just to show you. That's it, folks. That's all it takes. Nice. Just get a couple of bubbles and we'll just come back every 10 minutes or so and just push them down. Yeah. That's it, baby. Looks pretty good. See all that? That's what we got. Alright, we're going to move on to grill cloth. Almost done. Hang in there. Alright, now we're getting down to the brass tacks here. We got a little frame for our grill cloth. And the front is facing down. And that matters because the holes, the mounting holes, weren't drilled to scientific precision. That's okay, it'll live. We get our grill cloth, make sure we have it oriented the way we want it. And we'll just get an idea of how much we're going to need here. That looks about right. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. Get our razor blade. What's nice about grill cloth is usually there's a pattern that helps you keep it straight. Here on this one. There we go. Alright, and if you end up with some frayed edges, this is artificial material made of plastic, so you can just use like either the side of your hot soldering iron or a cigarette lighter or something like that, and just melt the edges, and that'll keep them from getting all crazy. Alright, we'll get her lined up. Yep, that'll work. Alright, now to fasten this to the frame, we're going to need a stapler.
But then they switched from the swing line to the Boston stapler, but I kept my swing line stapler.
Nope, not the office space stapler. We need an industrial stapler. Alright, so I'm going to very carefully make sure that the grill cloth is straight. And there's like black lines in the pattern, so I'm lining up the top of the frame with one of those black lines. And we'll get our first staple in. Okay, and now I'm watching the pattern on the top edge to try and get it as even as possible. Because there's nothing worse than crooked grill cloth. And don't be shy with the staples. And the further you get into doing this, the easier it gets. There we go. Okay. Uh-oh. Out of ammo.
Are those live rounds?
7.62 millimeter. Full metal jacket.
All right. Now, you want to pull it tight, but you don't want to pull so tight that you start getting waves in the Tolex. So you just kind of want to pull a certain tightness and then see when you pull like the next area how it's going to affect the pattern. And you'll see if it's getting wavy or if it's too loose. Yeah, that's Yeah. I am not great at this. But, see that? It's looking like it's going to be pretty good. Now, just like doing the Tolex, we're going to cut down to the floor on both sides, and then we'll cut at a 45-degree angle, and we'll make a miter join. Got a nice fresh razor blade. Okay. Alright, same deal. Pull it snug, give it a whack. And while I'm working on this, occasionally I go back to the cabinet and just push down any pieces that might be pulling up, like the little triangular flaps in the window and stuff, just making sure those are down and nice and tight. Alright. Find the corner. And cut all the way through down to the wood. There we go. And at the corner, one staple for both sides. There we go. And this little crap right here, I'll just take care of with a lighter. There you go. And we'll do one more corner with you. That's all there is to it. Alright, there we go. And with staples and grill cloth, more is more. Just clean up these little stragglers here. Alright, and then the last thing we need to do, both on the grill cloth and on the Tolex, is get yourself an awl or a pointer, one of these things here. Heat it up with your lighter. And then wherever there's a screw hole, go ahead and push it through. Push the heated awl through the hole. And I marked where the hole was. And I lost where the hole was. There we are. And just poke through. Alright, that's it. Do that to the rest of the holes on the grill cloth. Do it to the Tolex on the cabinet. And then we're ready for final assembly. Nice. Looks pretty good. It's not too bad. Not too wavy. I like it. Alright, here's our back door. With the back door window. Can you see that? Let's put her all together. Bam! There she is, all put together. And just in time, I just got the notification that the final RCA tube is in my mailbox. And so I get to take the back door off again and install that. But there she is. Looks pretty sweet. Still need to do a couple little things here. Need a handle for the top, need some feet for the bottom, and I want to get some finish washers for all the screws. But I have all those things in my shopping cart on Amplified Parts, but I just build up my shopping cart until I get to $89 or more so I can get free shipping. So it's going to be a week or two on that. But yeah, she looks pretty darn sweet. Here's the back. I have to push that down some more. The contact cement's still drying a little bit, so if there's any bubbles or anything, we can still address it. But there's the back door. But yeah, this looks pretty badass. Here we go. Alright, let me go grab that tube out of my mailbox, solder on the speaker wire, and maybe we'll play a few notes. Here's a tube that just came in the mail. 6EU7. I believe it is a 1964, which is a good match for this amplifier. So we're going to stick this guy in V1. We'll use the super vintage RCA tube Mojo for the signal. And we're going to remove this guy because he is not RCA, but he's still a good tube. GE, they bring good things to life. And then we have a more modern RCA tube here, probably from the 70s. We'll stick this in V2, which is the phase inverter and the tremolo oscillator. And we'll solder the speaker wire on and then take her for a little test drive. Alright folks, we're not going to get to test drive it here for the end of this video. I got her all put back together. Got the guitar plugged in, turned it on, and then was experiencing troubles with the tremolo circuit again. Big surprise. So we're going to do a separate episode on figuring out this tremolo problem, because it's, you know, really not related to Tolexing and grill clothing a cabinet. So hopefully you come join me for that adventure. Stop the presses. I think I found the problem. Alright, this voltage is measuring right here off of this 470 dropping resistor into the plate, pin 7. I did replace that with a new resistor, and we're reading 94 volts. Actually, no, what did I put in there? I put in a 220 because we were at, what, 85 volts with the 470. So I put a 220 in there, and, you know, we bumped it up, you know, at least 10 volts. But problem I was having was it was getting like 220 volts again on this pin. But if we kind of just move the tube around, the voltages kind of go all over the place. So what I'll do is I'll try and clean up that socket the best I can. And if that doesn't fix the problem, then we'll put a new socket in like we did over here. And then we'll take it from there, and then hopefully we'll test drive the amp. Alright, I removed the tube from the socket, and as you can see here on each pinhole, is two little pieces of metal that squeeze the pins of the vacuum tube. So I just took our little tool here and then pushed each side closer together so it'll be a nice tight fit on the tube pins. And you can also see there's a bunch of growtiness inside there, and there's actually some green corrosion on a couple of these. So I'm going to break out the Formula F5, and we're going to douche this out the best we can, and maybe we'll see if we can get some sandpaper in there and really get down to nice fresh metal. Alright. I am glad we finally got to the bottom of that problem. I thought I was going insane. Alright, let's package her all up. One last shot of these beautiful RCA tubes before we put the chassis back in the cabinet. Here we go. And I went and I tightened all the sockets and cleaned them out. So hopefully we don't have any problems with bad connections with our vacuum tubes. Alright, she's all packaged up. I don't know if you can see the tubes glowing through the window. But here we go. And I gotta say, she came out pretty darn nice. Especially for my first time doing it. And for having full-blown COVID while doing it. She looks pretty sweet. Unfortunately, the original potentiometer for the tremolo here shit the bed. And it's a knurled shaft, so the original knob will not fit on the only potentiometer I can find. apparently a 1 meg audio switched potentiometer is unobtainium. But I'll keep looking, or I'll try and figure out some way of jimmying that on there. But it is what it is. We'll figure it out. So, like I said, we still need to put the handle on and some feet on and get some dress washers. But other than that, there she is. And just played a couple of notes, and I really like the way this cabinet sounds. It adds a bunch of beef to the guitar, but, well, you be the judge. Let's play a few notes. Alright, I'm micing up here, and I'm using a GLS Audio ES57 for a close mic. And I was recently given this thing, which is AT871R. I haven't tried it out yet, just got the proper cable to hook it up. So we'll stick this thing back and maybe get some ambient room microphone, whatever. We'll see how it goes. It'll be an experiment.
Done.
Here are the materials I have kicking around. I got some black square. Oof, pardon me.